Across Britain, thousands of historic buildings have been neglected. Their owners struggling to restore them because of planning restrictions, design problems or lack of money.
Luckily, some romantics do take on the challenge of converting and restoring these forgotten gems.
But it isn't for the faint-hearted.
It's sat here and it's falling apart.
I think it can push you to the limit, actually.
You can hear the sound of piggy banks smashing in the distance because we're raiding every penny we've got to finish this.
They're often churches, mills and barns.
But also factories, warehouses and industrial buildings that are often abandoned because they're so difficult for residential conversion. These buildings have as much rich history and tell as many fascinating stories about our past as any stately home or medieval castle.
These are palaces of industry, and so it's such a privilege to live in one.
As an architect, I relish the challenge that these unusual buildings give us when we're trying to create a place called home.
This time, a couple of professional builders tried to forge themselves a new future in a ruined Victorian school.
Anybody with any sense wouldn't buy it.
But when the money fails to materialise, the true cost of what they've taken on hits home.
We have to find a way of getting this done, because if we don't, then we lose everything.
I'm in Carmarthenshire, West Wales, in the small village of Pencadder. On a hill above the main street stands the old village school, which has been abandoned since 1989 and is now completely derelict. Until, in 2010, builders Ian and Jane Hall-Edwards paid £170,000 for this sprawling 1-acre site.
All of our friends and family, without exception, think we're absolutely crazy.
Mad, crazy mad. I think we're
taking
nuts.
this on, yeah.
Their plan is to turn it into a new home and a new business as a centre for teaching green and environmentally friendly building technologies, as their existing building company had run into trouble.
When the recession hit, a couple of years ago now, we were doing quite well before that. And overnight we lost about 95% of our contracts, laid off 17 boys. We made a decision that the way forward was the green technologies and the eco-friendly way.
For now, Ian and Jane are living in a caravan on site from where they've already started work on their restoration project.
What I love about this building is the size of it, the features, the barge boards and all the arches, and just sort of absolutely love the building itself. You know, why it was built 150 years ago to sort of educate the locals, and hopefully now we can bring it back to life and do pretty much the same.
Ian and Jane were hoping to fund the restoration from a rural development grant, but when that fell through, Ian decided he would do most of the work himself and has raised the money they need bit by bit through other building projects. It's a risky move to go into a restoration without a budget in place. This is a couple who are going to need help every step of the way.
Morning.
Morning.
How are you? This is one hell of a building site. Hi, Jen. How are you? Nice to meet you. You well?
Yep, thanks.
This is a big, big project.
Not really? Not really, no.
So it's an old school building. What bits or which parts? I'm trying to get my head around it already because it seems to be a whole collection of stuff.
And we believe that the school started there in the corner.
Yeah.
That's the old headmaster's house, so that doesn't belong to us.
Yeah.
And it was originally just this one piece. And then as the population of Pencadder grew, they added another bit on. So then this bit was added on.
Yeah.
And then in the 1960s, there was the prefab put on the end.
Right.
This is the technical block.
Should we go around and have a look? I want to browse this complex of buildings that you've got here.
The whole school footprint has a total area of 5,500 square feet, spread over 5 buildings. It's arranged in an L-shaped plan. At one end is the headmaster's house, which doesn't belong to them, but attached to it is the original Victorian Assembly Hall, with 2 classrooms and a small 1960s extension. The old technical block completes the site.
Is this bit staying, or is this coming down?
No, that's staying. This was the last part built on the school.
Yeah.
I think it was originally built as an office.
And whereabouts is your house going to be? Where are you actually going to live in this complex?
This area here is going to be the bedroom.
Up on the first floor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this has all been rebuilt from scratch down to the ground.
So that's new build?
That's
It's
new.
brand new.
Brand new.
That's amazing.
Everything that came out was going back in. The barge boards were the original barge boards taken down and rubbed back and restored.
So far, they've spent about £40,000 of their hard-earned money, which they've spent sparingly, as it's all they have. With this building near to collapse, they've had to remove large sections of the structure before rebuilding. They've salvaged as many materials as they can. Restoration can sometimes be a painful process.
I mean, you stand here looking at this now and you think, oh my God.
And we still got this to come down yet. So that's
Oh, that lean-to.
No, not
No, that's the only, that's staying.
Up to the lean-to.
Yeah, that bit's got to come down.
So you're taking this down?
Well, it's all leaning and cracked, and I like straight, flat things.
Fair enough.
New, straight, flat. I mean, I got to live here for the rest of my life, and I want it right. But I want it to look like it was originally.
Built in 1878, Pencader School would have made quite an impression on the poor agricultural community that it was meant to serve, many of whom lived in much humbler dwellings, often with bare earth floors. At the time, Gothic architecture was the approved style for school building, which was considered grand enough to inspire pride in learning. Architects developed distinctive features such as tall ceilings to encourage healthy circulation of air, and large high windows to stop children from being distracted by what was going on outside. When it opened, Pencader School had places for 220 children, and all lessons would have been taught in English, despite the fact that everyone spoke Welsh at home. In the old assembly hall, you can still see traces of the fine building it once was, even amongst the scene of total devastation.
You got to watch where you're working in your mind.
Oh my God, crikey. Look at that.
The dry rot was amazing in this floor.
But you've had to take the roof off and everything. Are you taking the walls down here as well, or not?
That one's staying.
That one stays, thank God.
That one's coming down.
Oh, you can see why. Crikey.
Yeah. See the crack in the corner?
This
like that.
particular wall had come away from the roof as well. It had come right out.
I'm just worried about how much you've got to do with the amount of money you've got, because it's big. There's a lot to do.
Yeah.
And it's really, to keep the cost down, you've got to do a lot of work yourself.
And if we do get into more financial difficulty we can handle, we do have a boat we can sell.
It's been a challenge to keep hold of my boat. So you only get one boat, I think, and you must cherish it.
Yes. I've seen, obviously, bad buildings, well, good buildings in a bad state. But this is pretty bad.
But when we bought this, mind, I said to a lot of people, it takes somebody like me, or us, to buy something like this. Anybody with any sense wouldn't buy it. So you've got to be mad. Otherwise you wouldn't bother. But only the mad succeed.
Every penny is going to count on this restoration, and one of the ways that Ian and Jane have saved money is by doing the drawings themselves instead of hiring an architect.
So basically, there's kind of 3 sections to the building, really. Teaching, living, and exhibition.
Yes.
Their main entrance leads into a small lobby. Straight ahead is the classroom, where students will learn about sustainable building practices and will see examples of the latest green technology. There will also be a canteen and an office. Back through the lobby, and you enter what was the old assembly hall, which will be an exhibition space and a reception room. A glass staircase leads up to their private living area, consisting of an open-plan kitchen living room with a balcony, and 2 bedrooms with a shared bathroom. A As well as displaying green technologies, the entire building will be fitted out with many different energy-saving solutions, ranging from rainwater collection to air source heat systems.
So yours is a really efficient 2-bedroom pad
Yes.
with a really nice living, dining, kitchen area. And all the rest of this building is given over to the business
More or
and the
less.
education.
Yeah.
I think the layout that you've got looks absolutely fine. You want a very functional, practical, pragmatic piece of design, and I think you've got it. It seems to work really well. At this stage where you're at, I wouldn't change anything. It's good. You know what Ian and Jane are trying to do here is absolutely fantastic. Reusing an old school building to create a centre to learn about the retrofitting of old structures, dragging them into the 21st century. But when you look at the condition of the building, just how bad it is, you need a budget. These guys just haven't got one. I've got no idea how they're going to do it.
Winter has come to West Wales, where builders Ian and Jane Hall-Edwards have embarked on a mammoth restoration project trying to turn a derelict Victorian school into their new home and a centre for teaching green building technologies. They have no budget to speak of, but luckily perfectionist Ian is a highly skilled builder and happy to do most of the work himself, helped by apprentices and trained builders who work for his building firm. The weather has slowed things down a lot, so their temporary caravan could be their home for some time to come. It's been 2 months since I was last here, and I'm keen to find out what progress they've made.
Morning.
Morning.
All systems go
Yes.
again, which is a good thing.
Aye.
How are you?
All flat out.
How was the winter?
Cold, wet,
Miserable.
miserable.
And the build kind of slowed right down, didn't it?
Almost stopped, really. We were doing work as well outside.
Yeah.
So we had work to get on with. Earn a few money. Yeah.
Keep the lads busy,
Yeah.
but not really cracking on with
no,
this.
and then it's been so frustrating because, you know, you come home and you look out the sort of caravan window and there's nothing got done. And then I'm like going, oh, nothing's getting done. I'm going to be living in a caravan for the rest of my life. Blah, blah, you know, suicide. And then it's like, oh, it'll be right, love, it'll be right, love. And then I want to get going, I want to do it because I'm fed up with living in a caravan. And, you know, but then we made a decision, and then we, January, February, book it off.
The guys are off other projects.
Yep.
They're going to be on
just
this
working here.
for a couple of months.
Yeah.
And the tricky thing with that, you want to crack on, put the lads on it, you don't want to lose income, and you're pulling them off other projects that brings in the revenue, and you've got to pay their wages at the same time.
Difficult, but I don't tell him. Keep him in the dark.
The real challenge with this restoration is that only once they started work did they discover that all but one of the exterior walls was unstable and would need to be rebuilt from scratch.
This looks really good. I mean, when you think you were up to... were you around here somewhere?
Just a bit lower, I think. We hadn't had the sills on.
This is fantastic. Oh, the sills are beautiful, man. Look at that.
Yeah, these slate.
That's a fantastic bit of slate, that, isn't it?
Welsh.
This is all really nice.
And the bricks were what we took out.
Reused them all.
Yeah.
All reclaimed.
And so you started all this for the drainage, yeah?
Yeah, that's the sewerage going down there. And then that what he's digging now
Yep.
is that's another rainwater harvesting pipe there.
So you're collecting all the water off all the roof profiles?
Every drop.
Every single drop?
13,000 litre tank.
Crikey. Yeah, all you need now is a roof to actually collect the water on.
The aim is to turn the school into an energy-efficient, carbon-neutral building, where water and heating bills are a thing of the past. So they won't just be teaching green, they'll be living green too.
Bit more! Come on, Wayne! I'll do you.
Today, the insulation is arriving for the upstairs bedrooms.
That's the stuff I want to see. Yeah, people's ringing.
You got it? Oh, here it comes. More rain.
Despite their near non-existent budget, they've gone for the highest spec.
I've never been up here before.
No,
Exciting. God, look at that.
Finished bit.
That's great. You're going to pack this out, aren't you? I mean, this is like the NASA of insulation, this stuff is.
I got a funny feeling. I think it was invented.
It was. This was invented by NASA. This is ingenious. It's
Space
fantastic.
blanket, it's called.
thin insulation. That layer is a super insulator. What's fantastic is that it reduces the construction thickness of the roof. Gives you a greater sense of space, gives you more headroom. That roof construction's only going to come out to about that line, which is perfect, really.
This is going to be my, it's more of like a French window.
Yeah.
With a Juliet balcony.
Very smart. It's quite romantic, that, for you, isn't it?
This is what I was thinking of. Bed day, lovely summer's morning, if it's such thing, sort of French doors open, sort of net flapping in the wind.
I didn't realise you were such a romantic. I'm sure.
Neither did you, Ed?
Ian and Jane are committed to the highest standards of restoration. But the scale and condition of the old building is overwhelming.
If you look at this wall finish, this is a really hard cement mix. It's not a soft plaster. And to show you how bad the building is, look. That's how wet and damp and soaking this is. Yeah, that's just full of water. Look at it, just crumbling away like cottage cheese.
Ian may be doing most of the physical work, but Jane is in charge of the money, and it's her almost impossible task to balance the books on their building business and keep the project moving forward.
On most jobs, normal jobs, you'd have a budget. You'd set yourself a time scale. You know you'd have that money in the bank, whether it's mortgage money or money that you'd saved up, and you plan according to that budget. You haven't actually got a budget, have you?
No. Well, at the original, when we bought the project, we were going in for a grant, which fell through. We were going in for large extension on the mortgage, which fell through. It worked out we were having roughly about 300,000 with the loan and the grant, which has gone from 300,000 to nothing. So it's scary, but this is my home. Just 'cause I can't live in it yet, it's irrelevant. It's my home, and we will get there.
As Ian and Jane brace themselves for the challenges that a rainy Welsh spring will bring, I've been finding out more about the history of this building. Before the school was built in 1878, opportunities for education in Pencadder were restricted to Sunday school or a small room attached to the local chapel, with space for only 60 children. This lack of provision was mirrored all over the country. But in 1870, a new law was passed. The Elementary Education Act entitled every child between the ages of 5 and 10 to go to school, and marked the start of state education as we know it. The next 10 years saw 4,000 schools being built all over Britain, and Pencadder was one of them. I've come to Dead Street School in Hertfordshire, which has been preserved to look as it did in Victorian times.
What a space, eh?
And I'm joined by Jane Humphreys, Professor of History at Oxford University.
So, Jane, the Act was quite a dramatic thing for Wales, well, and the rest of England as well.
The Act really creates a lot of school places. By the end of the 19th century, the school boards had added some 3 million extra places for children in British schools.
That's quite incredible, isn't it?
It is, it's amazing.
It cost a penny a week to attend a school like Pencadder, but for the poorest families, it was free. Despite this, many of the parents, particularly those who worked on the land, were reluctant to send their children to school.
I managed to dig out some of the kind of original log from the headmaster of Pencadder,
Yes.
and I think it just proves how difficult it was for him just to get the numbers that he might have expected to have had. Friday, July the 19th. This week, more than usual, many pupils were in the habit of leaving school during recreation time at 11 for the sake of attending to home duties.
Well, this is the summer, so I'm sure they are being used in agricultural labour at this point. So potato picking, pea picking, working in the fields. Girls were often kept at home to deal with needs of the family. So every time Mum had a new baby, the oldest daughter would be kept off school to be mother's helper.
It even says we might as well close school during the whole of July and August.
And that's what we've inherited. That's why we have those long summer holidays for our schools today. We inherited that from a previous time when children did go off and help with the harvest.
For the children of Pencada, going to school would have been a very alien and not altogether welcome experience.
Well, this is a galleried classroom. This allows the teacher to be able to see what's going on there at the back of the form.
Yeah, there's no hiding in this space, is there?
Dead Street School keeps a large collection of Victorian memorabilia, items that those first school children in Pencada would have been very familiar with. Sandboards were used to help learn letters and practice handwriting.
That's very good, George.
Is that all right?
Very good joined up writing.
While ball frames were like mini abacuses.
It helped children learn arithmetic, particularly decimals.
This is like a Victorian version of the Casio calculator that I would have had on my desk.
Put it in your pocket, yes.
Learning was important, but the schools also demanded discipline and good behaviour.
Well, this shows you how the Victorians were very fond of giving out medals, as well as this kind of nice incentive. I'm afraid these schools also had sticks as well as carrots, and here's the cane.
God, and I'll tell you what, I bet that was a pretty painful...
Ooh.
Even that hurts.
And believe me, it was wielded quite often and quite energetically. In Pencada, there's another dimension to this, because many of the children would be Welsh speakers at home. They were taught in English, and the Welsh was very much discouraged, in fact, backed up by a kind of violent regime. So the children had a little board that was called the Welsh Knot, because it said Welsh Knot. And it was hung around the necks of any child who was heard to be speaking Welsh, and passed around the class according to who spoke Welsh during the course of the day. And the last child to be wearing the Welsh knot, I'm afraid, was caned before they went home. So, yes, it was a public humiliation.
Back in Pencada, at last the sun is shining. To take advantage of the good weather, Ian has mustered all his manpower on site, where they're finally getting round to demolishing the leaning wall of the old assembly hall. Meanwhile, up on the new first floor, Ian has given one of his 4 apprentices a lesson in roof construction.
Yeah, screw it in.
It's been 3 months since I was last at the school, and for the first time, I can see real signs of progress.
Morning, mate, how are you? You all right?
Yeah, a bit of a cold.
Oh, you're a bit under the weather today?
Yeah.
That's typical, isn't it? Just as the weather changes and the sun comes out,
You get,
ill.
Yeah.
It's cracking on, though. Look at that. You've got the roof on this section. All the fantastic slate, all the brick detailing. You know, even the guttering that you've got on there, it's really neat, very crisp. You're doing a great job. Now, I've noticed a for sale sign up on this house. That's the main one on the front that you're connected to. It would save you a lot of hassle to have it, wouldn't it?
Well, we offered him 70 grand and he accepted, and we were going through, and then we had a mortgage. The mortgage guy came up, looked at it, and he said, I'm not even going to value it. He said, because it's structurally unsound.
It's unmortgageable, so you couldn't get the finance on it.
But some woman up the road bought it for cash because she wanted it. It's a bit of a shame, but hey-ho, all meant to be used.
This looks magic, really good.
At the front, things are coming along nicely.
Well, this looks like a bomb's gone off. Crikey.
When we go through to the old assembly hall, I'm reminded how much work they've got ahead of them and how ambitious this restoration really is.
How the hell are you doing the build and doing other building work off-site to keep the money coming in and get a new business venture going? How are you doing it? I mean, there's not enough hours in a day, surely.
No, there ain't. You just go to bed, you get up and just carry on, don't you? And I went to the doctor's the other day and he said, oh, calm down, you know, just do sort of 6 days instead of 7.
Don't make yourself ill, mate. I mean, seriously, you don't kill yourself.
We'll get there, man, George.
Come on.
Luckily for Ian, not all of the building is in such a desperate state.
Oh, look at that. Done quite a lot of work here.
Yeah.
The interactive classroom underneath the 2 bedrooms is looking more habitable.
And what's going on the floor in here? What's going to be the final finish?
Display pods in here. All the different types of underfloor heating systems in the pods. Interactive whiteboard up there then. Along there then, computer desk. You actually might feel like you're somewhere to learn in an old school, perhaps.
Well, I'll have a cup of tea.
Money, or the lack of it, has been a constant worry on this project. When they started, they couldn't get financial backing because of the recession. So far, they've been able to scrape by doing the building work. But a green technology centre needs lots of green ecological kit, and that's expensive. The latest estimate is an eye-watering £130,000, and with no other options available to them, they've had to apply for another grant from the Welsh Assembly, which will require a matching loan.
I mean, I'll be brutally honest with you. I mean, I think what you're doing here is fantastic. You know, the standard of the build is brilliant, the idea for the business, the training, the ecological side. But the two of you are really pushing it, aren't you?
I mean, we're trying for this one grant now, but who knows? We've been let down so many times before.
Do you ever think that you wish you'd never taken this on in the first place?
Oh, God, yes.
Do you?
Yes. But if we walk away from this now, we'll go bankrupt and owe everybody money. You know, it's a half-built project. The amount of money that we've put in this, we wouldn't even get half back. We actually do love the building. We love the build. We love the area. We love everything about it. It's just the pressure.
Doing a restoration of this scale and quality with no budget to fall back on takes superhuman levels of energy and commitment. Ian and Jane's refusal to compromise on the standard of their vision is great for the build, but I'm worried that the project may never finish.
They've put everything into this project. I just hope to God that it pays off.
In West Wales, Ian and Jane's restoration of a ruined Victorian school is now into its second year. So far, they've spent £60,000, every penny of which they've had to go out and earn through other building work. They do have one resource available to them, Ian's cherished boat, which could be worth up to £60,000. If they sell it, it would allow them to buy much-needed building materials. But right now, they can't quite bring themselves to part with a boat they can't afford to run.
Time is gone, money's gone, everything's gone. So it's just sat there, rotting away.
It's been 2 months since I was last in Pencada.
Morning.
Hello. Morning.
How are you?
Okay.
All the weather's gone rubbish again.
You brought it with you?
It's always my fault. Always my fault. It's good to see you.
All right.
You all right? That looks absolutely brilliant. The brickwork looks amazing up on that gable end, that elevation, and you've got the roof starting to go on. How are you feeling about it all?
Not even the last thing, really. Everything's going all right.
Yeah?
Yeah, just money.
We did pick up some work since you were here last time, which have covered all the bills. And we did have the first payment of it. Now it's just run to Ian. We've got money in the account.
You got some money in?
I mean, not in a minus.
Yeah.
Yeah, first time for a very long time.
It's great that they've got some money in the bank at last. Psychologically, it must be a real boost to start rebuilding that last exterior wall. But this piecemeal earn-as-you-go-along approach won't cover the expensive eco items they need, like the heating systems and the rainwater tank. For those, they've applied for a national economic grant from the Welsh Assembly.
When did you hear about the grant?
I telephoned them yesterday and they had just given the same speech to everybody. They'll hear by the end of September,
Right.
which is a long time.
You're kind of treading water though at the minute, aren't you?
We sink regular. Don't just tread water.
I don't doubt the plan. I don't doubt the ambition. I don't doubt the business venture.
Day to day is whether we can eat or not. It's down to that fine, whether we can eat. I mean, all the bills get paid, 'cause that's priority, and the wages get paid. But whether we can eat is another matter.
I mean, that's a huge.
But I'm on healthy eating anyway. So I don't eat as much.
It's good for the diet, mate. Keeps the weight off.
Look how much I've wasted away.
Just keep working and don't eat and pay the bills and it'll all be fine.
Good.
They might be cash poor, but they're not lacking in passion for this huge restoration project, or the skills needed to get it done. Ian is single-handedly restoring all 19 of the large Victorian windows. He's using the old technical block as a makeshift workshop.
As you see now, some of it is totally rotten. I mean, that ain't going to go back on. So we'd have to renew that bit.
Each window needs to be taken apart and assessed for damage.
Come to Daddy.
The areas of rotten timber will be removed and carefully replaced with new.
Some of them, some of them, I'm lucky to get one piece out of them. The other ones, then, I managed to save the entire window.
Look at all the damp that's got into that timber.
Over 100 years of accumulated paint needs to be stripped back to reveal the original timber. Once completed, each restored window will be fitted with new panes of high-spec glass and new ironmongery.
If you were going to do this from scratch, this would be...
40 grand I got priced for
I
these.
was just about to say £2 a window.
And I was without the glass.
What?
And I bought that timber over there for, I think it was about 3.5 grand.
That's a bargain.
It is a bargain.
The quality of work and attention to detail on this restoration is extraordinary. But because of the financial pressure, Ian and Jane are feeling low. I've got a plan that I hope will give them just the pickup they need. The school may have been closed for the past 2 decades, but there are still plenty of people in the village who can remember when it was at the heart of the community. I've organised a reunion which will bring together teachers and pupils from the past 70 years to share their memories of life in Pencadder. It's also a perfect opportunity for Ian and Jane to meet them and explain their plans for this next chapter in the school's history.
That's the office bit, and then the green roof on there.
Most people have brought along class photos or memorabilia from their school days.
Click on, who have we got here?
No, that's my dad,
Yeah.
and he is now 88.
This is 1936, this picture, yeah?
1936.
Yeah,
There is me,
yeah.
and then this is my son.
No way. So 3 generations.
3 generations, all at the same school.
That's incredible. I mean, that shows how much of a tight-knit community
Exactly.
it was, really.
It was such a good community, a wonderful community to be in.
Eric Evans, teacher.
My first job in teaching. That's the school, that's the school building.
Yeah.
The school is a fantastic place, you know, that's all I got is good memories of it. It's always, everything is positive. You know, the kids were absolutely superb, and well, the buzz I get from today, you know, 40 years on, is unbelievable.
I even managed to meet some of the last people to pass through the school gates.
I remember sitting in a classroom one day and something fell from the ceiling, so I think the building was having problems then, really, and I think that's when I think the new school was being built at the time, but I think the building was in ruins. It was, yeah.
On its last legs, with each in there.
Yeah, and the toilets that were outside were quite disgusting, to be honest.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
And what do you think about the restoration project that's happening up there?
I wish I'd bought it.
Yeah, do you?
Everyone seems to have a great affection for the building.
Cheese. Big wave. I'll put that on Crime Watch later.
And the overwhelming feeling is that they're delighted it's being saved, and more importantly, that it's going to have a new role in educating and providing work for local people for years to come.
I mean, does it kind of bring it home to you how important the building is for the community?
I've never seen it like that until today. Today you said, well, you're doing something for other people. You're not just renovating the school. You're sort of rebuilding something for the community, something that people had memories of, and restoring it. Because without us, that place would have fell down. So,
Soon.
yeah, I think they like it as well, that they're going to be able to come back.
They can come and have
And
a
look
cup
at
of
it
coffee
again.
anytime they want and have a look around.
Yeah, I might have to put a little bit more effort into it now.
Back on site, and Ian, the bricklayer, and 2 apprentices have been working on the building uninterrupted for the past few weeks, which has allowed them to finish off the brickwork to the front and continue on the roof.
No, right across, pull it.
But the best news is that Ian has got to the bottom of his health issues.
Well, I wasn't very well, various things. Couldn't really work out what it was. So I went to the doctors, complaining about dizziness. So he's done a load of tests, took a load of blood, and it turned out it was high cholesterol. So put me on statins, and I cut down on the fat, and started to get a lot better then, so I wasn't getting dizzy. I think, you know, wasn't getting any blood around my body, to my huge brain.
As part of the educational purpose of the centre, Ian's using many techniques to demonstrate a variety of green construction methods.
In the mixer was.
On the small extension, instead of insulating from the inside, the panels have been fixed externally. And today, a specialist plasterer is applying a silicone render. 3 layers reinforced with mesh will form a tough waterproof exterior that doesn't need painting when it's finished.
If you're going to insulate the inside of somebody's house, it's very invasive. Whereas turn up to somebody's house, do this, there's no disruption to their life. And it's a nice finish when it's done. There's a saying, and that's insulate before you generate. The cost of running this is going to be 0. We've got to do it to show people, which is what we're trying to do here.
A month later, I'm back on site, and there's only one question on my mind. Have they heard anything from the Welsh Economic Growth Fund about the grant they so desperately need to save this project?
Morning.
Morning.
It's good to see you. How are you? You all right? Hello, mate.
Hello.
How's things? What's happened with the grant application?
It changes daily. We were told we had a chance, and then they wanted us to have less money, less grant money, but employ a lot of extra people. We'd put down that we would create 5
new jobs.
Yeah.
which is 4 apprentices that we train up and then a full-time job.
Yeah.
But then that changed then that we had to create 8
New jobs.
plus we'd only have half the money.
So how much did you apply for? How much was your
We
application?
applied for 67.5.
And what, because you had to do the match funding and the bank would only lend you the money if you got the grant. If you get less grant, you get less bank money, don't you? So none of it really stacks up.
No.
Why don't you sell the boat? Why don't you just flog it?
We are.
You're going to sell the boat? Because you didn't want to originally, did you?
It was my last bastion. So the house went, the bike haven't moved for over a year, the car's knackered. So, and now the boat's got to go. So.
How much will you get for the boat, do you think?
We've had a little luck, and if we go for a quick sale, we should get about 60, 65.
I come to terms that, I'm here mostly 365 days a year, I might spend a couple of days on it. And then he sat there doing nothing and thought, well, let's get this done.
Selling their boat for anything approaching £60,000 would make a huge difference to the pace of this build. But they still need that grant of £67,000 to be able to afford all the green technologies to launch their new business. While they're waiting to hear, they're continuing to focus on keeping money coming in through their building company and doing what they can on site. In the meantime, I'm keen to finish off restoring the Victorian sash windows with Ian. Having salvaged the good timbers from the old window frames, it's now time for the precision work of crafting the new pieces that will replace what was rotten. The frame is held together with mortise and tenon joints, an ancient system that works with many materials, used by everyone from the Egyptians to the masons of Stonehenge.
That's what we can do with an old dead window and 2 new bits of timber.
Beautifully restored window.
Well done.
Well done. Ian and Jane are really doing their best and trying so hard to remain positive. And when you look at the quality of the craftsmanship that they're actually doing here, it's really impressive. But if they don't get that grant, they're going to be spending a long, long time in the caravan and their entire business model could collapse. In West Wales, it's an important day for Ian and Jane.
Yay!
After nearly 3 years of living in a caravan, they're finally waving it goodbye and relocating it to the local holiday park.
Don't get me wrong, nice caravan, lovely caravan. We wouldn't have survived this long without it. But, yeah, ta-ra.
Huge, momentous occasion.
This chapter is now closing. Another one is opening.
It's been a year since I first came to Pencadder School, And for Ian and Jane, it's been a financial and emotional rollercoaster trying to convert the school into both a home and an ecological building centre. When I was here last, the whole future of this restoration was hanging in the balance, while they waited to hear if they'd been awarded a government grant.
Morning.
Morning.
Good to see you.
There are a lot of people working on site today, which could be a good sign.
So, any news about the grant?
We have the grant.
You've got it.
We do.
That's brilliant news.
It is. Good.
News.
I was really worried before. The last time I was here, you were pulling your hair out a bit, weren't you?
We were.
I mean, this means you can finish it, doesn't it? You can get on and get it done.
It means we can biotechnologies, which is what it's all about at the end of the day. It's about opening the eco-centre, it's about having the technologies and being carbon neutral.
It's already turned the corner.
It's great, and we just got to sort of get a plan of action together now, which is what we are in the middle of doing. So it's all good.
And the other thing that gives me great hope, the caravan's gone.
Yay!
So where are you sleeping now?
In the house.
We bought the house, attached.
You've bought that house out the front?
Bought the house.
We have, yes.
You're kidding me?
No.
Their escape from the caravan has come thanks to their daughter and son-in-law, who have lent them the money to buy the headmaster's house, which thankfully means they now not only own the entire site, but they can live more comfortably while completing the bills. They tried to buy the house a few months ago for £70,000, but thought they'd been beaten to it by a cash buyer.
I thought that opportunity was long gone.
The person that owned it pulled out because it just wasn't progressing.
Right.
So they rang us up and said, would you buy it?
Made it for 50 in the end.
You are joking me.
No, I am not.
You bought that bloody house for 50 grand?
Yeah,
That's a steal.
it is.
Should we go around and have a look at the side of our work?
Yeah.
After months of disappointments and real hardship, Ian and Jane are at last getting the luck that they deserve. And even though there's still a long way to go, it feels like the future of the school is finally secure. When they first started this restoration, the building was in such a terrible state that most people wouldn't have gone near it. But slowly, brick by brick, Ian and Jane are bringing about an almost miraculous transformation. Some areas which were completely demolished have had to be completely rebuilt. But through sheer force and determination, Pencada School is rising from the rubble.
I mean, the work that's gone in to all that brick detailing and all the stone and the brick arches is magic. And you've got that wall up. Look at that. It's all there.
I know.
And it's flat.
Yeah, exactly. It's great. I know you wanted to be further on, but it takes as long as it takes.
Correct.
You know, with all the pressure you've been under with the money. I'm amazed that you've even reached this stage, to be honest with you.
Well, if you think about it ironically, everything we're looking at today, we did in our spare time.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we worked flat out.
Yeah.
And then when we've had 5 minutes, then time we've been doing this. So this has been done in our spare time. So, and it's going to be amazing when it's done.
It will be.
In the parts that are finished, the original character of the old school is once again visible in all its Gothic Victorian glory. Inside, the rooms that will be used for the training centre are still taking shape. But with the grant, matching bank loan and the money they'll hopefully get from selling their boats, they'll now have enough to finish them to the same high standard as the rest of the build. Upstairs in their private living space, what will be their kitchen living room is in a similar unfinished state. But their bathroom is plumbed in and their bedroom is almost complete.
There's paint on the walls. That's great.
Window.
Is that one of the refurbished windows? That is actually amazing. If you brought someone in who hadn't actually seen the work that you'd put in restoring the old ones, I think they would think they were new windows. I mean, honestly, this is like a lesson in recycling and restoring an old building.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, I'm telling you. The standard of the craftsmanship everywhere, it's top spec stuff, but it's all restored as well.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you carry on at the line you are, with the quality of craftsmanship and the passion really and dedication behind it, if you carry on at that level, it'll be an amazing project when it's finished.
Nice to you.
Ian and Jane have been the force behind this restoration.
Go on, mate.
and they've been helped along the way by a team of apprentices who have all benefited from Ian's knowledge and expertise. And now that the grant has come through, their future employment is looking secure too.
He's quite passionate about teaching people. He wants to teach them the right way, and he's got an knack to it as well. He's a good teacher.
Diolch yn fawr.
Honestly, well done. Even just to get it to this stage is incredible.
Yes.
What you've been through to get to this point is mind-boggling. Cheers.
Cheers.
Congratulations.
Cheers.
Well done, guys, to Pencader School. And I've got a little present for you. Your Pencader School book. Pencader School, Loving Restored by Jane and Ian.
Oh my God.
And the snow kicking in. That was pretty tough, wasn't it?
That was a horrible time, yeah.
That was really
trying to do
bad
anything
then.
there.
There's everybody.
On the reunion day, wasn't it? It's quite good, wasn't it?
It was brilliant. It's
All the Pencader people together.
And there's, your best apprentice you've ever had. After all that, there you are, the two restoration superheroes.
Two S's against the world, Han?
Exactly. So that's for you.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. This has been one of the most stressful restoration projects ever. Through a staggering amount of financial pressure, Ian and Jane have never given up. And in some ways, I can't even believe they've managed to get to this stage. But now that the grant's in place, it gives them a chance of realising their dream home and their eco-business, while at the same time training the next generation of building apprentices. That will be the lasting legacy of this restoration.